Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Total Angrezi by Vidushi. Do subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up if you like the video and do hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Today we are going to do Grade 10 Chapter 7 The Necklace, that is written by Guy De Maupassant. It's a very interesting story, a very gripping one that revolves around three main characters, Monsieur Loisel, Madame Mathilda Loisel and Madame Forestier. Now these are French names, so this is how you pronounce them, Madame and Monsieur. Now let's do a quick summary of the chapter. Now the introduction of the story begins with the description of a very pretty lady who feels that she was born with an error in destiny, which means to say that she wanted to have a lot of riches. But sadly, she was just married to a petty clerk in the office of the Board of Education, and she felt that she was actually born for a lot of delicacies and for a lot of luxuries. So she felt very tortured and anger because of her poverty of her apartment. The apartment had shabby walls, it had worn out chairs, and on the opposite end was her husband, who even found that the pot pie that she made was a yummy dinner. On the contrary, she felt that only elegant dinners makes one classy. She wasn't happy with what she had. She had no frocks, she had no jewels, and all of that made her very sad. Now, she had a very rich friend who was her schoolmate, and whenever they met each other, she suffered. She suffered emotionally because she felt jealous. She felt like she had a lot of things, but she herself that doesn't have anything. So she wept for days with despair and disappointment after meeting her friend. And one day her husband comes home very happy and he tells his wife that we have an invitation by Minister of Public Instruction and Madame George Ramponneau has invited them for a dinner, for a ball to the minister's residence. Now her husband thought that, this would make her happy because she always felt like she didn't get to go out to all these elegant places. But she, on the other hand, becomes very angry. And her husband convinces her. He tries to talk to her that, I thought this would make you happy. What is upsetting you? And she becomes all the more irritated because she starts crying and she says that she has nothing to wear. It was a very big issue that she didn't have anything to wear. And so she refuses to go and she asks her husband to give away the invitation to somebody else who would be more deserving to go. But her husband, he agrees, he has a little thought about how much it would cost and etc. And he agrees to buy her a new dress for around 400 francs. So that was decided. So here we come to know a lot about the husband's nature, about the love he has for his wife, about how understanding he is of his wife's nature and how he wants to try and meet her demands all the time and make her happy. But yet again she is upset because now she has no jewelry to wear. So her husband says that why don't you put on some natural flowers, it will make you look very beautiful. But yet again she is unhappy. Then her husband gives her another suggestion that why don't you go and lend something from your rich friend Madame Forestier. And that made her very happy. She liked the idea. She goes to Madame Forestier and Madame Forestier is more than happy and willing to share her jewelry with her friend. So she brings out a very big jewel box. She sees a lot of bracelets, a collar of pearls, a Venetian cross of gold, some jewels of admirable workmanship. She sees all of that, but she doesn't seem to like anything. And then from a black satin box, she picks out a diamond necklace and she hesitantly first asks if that is okay for her to take it. And Madame Forestier agrees. And so she borrows that one. And then finally the day of the ball at the minister's residence arrives and she gets to be what she wanted to be. That means she was the prettiest of all. She was most elegant, most gracious. She kept smiling and she was full of joy. And she was getting a lot of attention from all the males, from all the females, from all the people present in the ball. And this for her felt like a victory. She felt like she had won a very big thing by getting so much admiration. So they enjoy everything at the ball till around 4 a.m. and her husband is overtired. He goes to sleep somewhere with another man whose wife is also enjoying with Madame Loisel and they're dancing and everything. And at 4 a.m. they leave and her husband tries to cover her with a drape, but she's very embarrassed because the drapes that she had was not very elegant looking. And she thought that what would people around me who are leaving the ball right now think? So even before her husband can call a cab, she does not wait. And that leads them to a situation where they do not get a cab for a very long time and they ultimately have to take an old coach. They found an old carriage which was there in old Paris. So they had to take something like that. Here, you can see a difference in their lives over here. The kind of husband he was and the kind of wife she was. The difference in their natures as to how they were so different, and how one did not bother about what people thought while the other lived on what people thought. And suddenly, after going home, when she was half undressed, and she screams because she realizes that her necklace was missing. So they look for it everywhere. The husband goes back, looks through the entire track where they had walked. Unfortunately, he didn't have the number to the carriage, so he couldn't do anything about it, and there was no luck. He returns home at 7 a.m., but he finds no luck. So he goes and puts up an advertisement at the police station and at the cab offices, and he offers a reward to anybody who would help him find or return the necklace if they had found. Now, she couldn't do anything, so her husband gives her a suggestion that you lie to Mrs. Madame Forestier, and you tell her that the clasp of the necklace is broken, and I will repair it and give it back to you in a few days. But even after a few days, they are not able to find it. So finally, they decide to replace it. Now they're very poor. They do not have enough money to, even meet errands, to, make ends meet. But they had to go and replace it, and they found exactly one at Palais Royal. This cost them 40,000 francs, but they got it off at a discount for 36,000 francs. He had 18,000 francs which his father had left him, and he borrowed the rest from ruinous, and by giving ruinous promise, he loaned money from usurers and a whole race of money lenders. Now, when Madame Loisel went to return the necklace to Madame Forestier, Madame Forestier, gives her a little bit of a hard time by saying that, you should have returned it earlier. I might have needed it and stuff like that. But she keeps it without opening it, because Madame Loisel was very scared that what if she opens the box and she finds that this is not the one that she gave to me, although she had tried her level best to get exactly the same one. Now, to return all of this money led Madame Loisel to realize her mistake. They went through years of struggle. They sent away the maid. They changed their lodgings. They rented rooms in the attic to live in. She learned to do the kitchen work. She washed dishes, the soiled linen. She dried clothes, and she brought up water by walking on the hills. And she used to get tired, so she used to stop at every few miles, take a breath, and then walk up again. And she became a woman of the people, which means she became a common woman. She did not have any more elegant wishes, because all her life went in fulfilling whatever she did. So she had to go to the grocer's shop by herself, the butcher's shop, the fruiterer's shop, do all of it. Along with her, even her husband started working extra. He worked throughout the evenings. He used to earn extra money by bringing books in order, by copying pages at 5 sous a page. 5 sous is how they is their unit of money, and that all of this period of struggle lasted for 10 years until they could finally pay off the loss that had happened. Now, by that time, Madame Loisel was much older. She had become a strong, hard woman. She was badly dressed. She used to wear oddie skirts. Her hands had become red from all the work. Her tone had become loud from becoming a common woman screaming at the market. She washed clothes, and whenever she was sitting alone, she reminisced that evening. She went back to the days of the ball and how she enjoyed that one evening, and that one evening changed the next 10 years of her and her husband's life. Now, one day when she went to Champelli, where she saw a woman with a child, and that happened to be Madame Forestier. And she decided to talk, and initially she starts blaming her that, it is because of you that I'm in this condition, and that's why I wasn't, meeting you since the last 10 years. And she asks how she was the reason, and Madame Loisel tells her that, she had lost her actual jewelry, and she had to work for 10 years. Her husband had to work for 10 years to pay for the 36,000 francs that they had paid to get the necklace back. And that is when Madame Forestier says that, oh, if only you had shared the truth with me, if only you would have been truthful, I would have told you that it was an artificial one. It did not even cost around 500 francs. So you can see the difference. It costed hardly 500 francs, where they had paid 36,000 francs for a diamond necklace, which wasn't even worthy. So here we learn a lot of lessons about how you have to be happy with your own life, how you have to try and stay contented, not to pressurize the people you are living with, and how sometimes honesty is really the best policy. She could have saved her and her husband the 10 years and all the effort that they had to make if only she was truthful and honest, or if only she was satisfied with what she already had and tried and made the best out of her personality. Let's go on a quick review of the question answer that could possibly come from this chapter. What kind of a person is Madame Loisel and why is she unhappy? Now, Madame Loisel is a woman of dreams. She used to love a lot of materialistic things. She did not understand the realities of life and she keeps on pitying her life. And she is very unhappy because she cannot fulfill her dreams and she wants her dreams to be true. So these are some pointers from which you can pick and form sentences, add your own sentences and make up a good answer. What kind of a person is her husband? So her husband is absolutely opposite to Madame Loisel. He's a very simple, good-hearted man of ordinary life. He's very caring. And no matter what his wife's nature was, he was very respectful of her and he always wanted to make her happy. They might also ask you Matilda Loisel's character sketch. So I just explained to you in the past few sentences that how Madame Loisel was a woman of dreams, how she used to love materialistic things, how she was not contented with what she had and always looked out for external happiness, and about all the mistakes she made, that she wasn't truthful. So you can pick out pointers from the summary and you can form her own character sketch with backing them with examples from incidents in the story. Another question that's possible is, what was the fresh problem that Madame Loisel faced? Firstly, it was that she had nothing to wear when she got the invitation to the ball. When she bought a new dress, she was upset that she had no jewelry. Her husband gave her a suggestion to wear natural flowers, but she was not convinced, and she found that very humiliating indeed that her husband would ask her to wear natural flowers. So this humiliation point can also be added in the character sketch in the previous question. And finally, her husband suggests borrowing the jewelry from her friend, but she ended up losing it. How is the problem solved? You can, or how is the course of life changes after losing the necklace? You can refer to the summary for this answer, where in the last part of the summary I've explained what kind of a person she had become, what kind of work her husband had to do, all the kinds of work that she had to do, and how she used to reminisce about that one evening that she had at the ball. What was the cause of Matilda's ruin? How could she have avoided it? Her cause was dissatisfaction with life. She was always sad. She felt like she was born for luxuries. She dislikes her life, and if only she would have been content with whatever she had, she could have avoided all of this ruin that she caused in her life. That's all for today, guys. Like, share, comment and subscribe. And if you want me to cover any particular topic in English language or from your syllabus, a story, a poem or any grammar topic, then do write to me in the comment section below.